Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be when it all comes to an end for the narcissist. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So, the ending for the narcissist. There are multiple endings, many of which you will never know about. The first ending would be when you were in the relationship and how that relationship ended. Maybe you ended it yourself, or maybe you were discarded. Anyway you cut it, you're out of that relationship, and that was one ending. The ending, how it all ends for the narcissist, when it all ends for them, this is not going to be a pretty sight to see. You're not going to want to be anywhere around them or know anything about that. You may think, no, I actually do. I want to see their demise. I want to see them get what is coming to them: karma, payback, retribution, exposure, and more. Those are all energy's going out the window. There is no payback, there's no karma. You should be taking the high road and focusing on yourself and healing properly. But I get it, along the healing journey, many times you think that you want to have done to them what is done to you, if not worse. That's not what we do. That's why this is a journey for one, by one, and to benefit one. And the more you take the high road, and the more you take that energy and get it off of the toxic person wanting retribution or payback, and you focus on yourself with that energy, the better off you will be, the stronger you will become, the less they will matter to you, and you will eventually understand what I'm going to share with you, is that it all will end for the narcissist. And it's not going to end how you think. It's not going to end with them drifting off into the sunset with the new supply and singing Kumbaya and sharing snickerdoodles and s'mores and being lavished with champagne and endless weekend romance adventures. It's going to be none of that. What it's going to be is more of the same. You see, the narcissist has a bottomless pit that they have to fill with something which is called supply. You were the supply source for a period of time, as was I. We are no longer supply sources. We are what I call beautiful, bright, shining lights. And we shine higher than the sun, the moon, and the stars, and everything in between. This is what the narcissists try to take from us. They try to take our energy, our mindset, our focus, our purpose, our identity, our relationships, our health, and more. And they wanted to extinguish us, if you will, thinking that the ending of our relationship with them perhaps would terminate us. Well, that's not what happened. What happened is we healed, or we are healing. We understand, or are understanding, that we are the priority, that we come first, second, and third. And there is no room in our lives for toxicity, not at the hands of the narcissist you're considering, or any toxic person at all. But the ending, and why it all ends for the narcissist, is that they can't fill that void. They can never get their cup full with one good thing, because once they get what they want, they don't want it any longer. And when they don't want it any longer, they look elsewhere to fill that void. That's why each and every person who was in the narcissistic relationship, they have a certain amount of energy that they can expend or use to maintain that relationship. But eventually it will all fall apart. Just like a sandcastle that you built on the shore at the beach when you were a kid. Well, the tide comes in and it washes that sandcastle away. It's a great illustration. It's one I've never used in all the 5,000 plus videos I've created over the years. But I will tell you this, the sandcastle analogy is perfect, because there's no foundation in these narcissistic relationships. There is no commitment, there's no togetherness. What you have is one person doing everything for the other person, and the other person taking advantage of that person. That's why it will never, and I mean never, ever, improve in the narcissistic relationship, but not just with your relationship that you are or were considering, with future relationships with the narcissist, because they're always looking over their shoulder. They're always looking for the next new supply source. They're always looking to see who is paying attention to them. They're always looking to blow up people's marriages, people's friendships, people's hobbies, people's mindset, people's focus. Anything the narcissist can disrupt or destroy or infiltrate, they will do it. That's why once you get the wisdom, you have to apply the tools. You have to get off the radar of this person or these people and go no contact. But why it always ends the same way for the narcissist, and how it will always end up for them, it's a repeat of that narcissistic loop, of that cycle going around and around and around. And that's Nola right next to me and Nelson behind me. They're saying hi to you, and they miss you, and they love you. But the loop that continues to go around, remember, you were in it at one point. You were in the center of it. That's when your world was turned upside down. That's when you were being abused, manipulated, triangulated, gaslit, stonewalled, given the silent treatment, and more. But You weren't taught this in school, so how could you know what you didn't know? You weren't taught it. Now you understand that that loop continues to go around, and now that you're out, or you're developing and or creating and getting ready to execute your exit plan to get out, that the loop will still continue to go around. It's just that you're out now. And what that loop means is, as the thumbnail mentioned to you, how it all will end for the narcissist, or how it all ends, it isn't the way I illustrated earlier. It's not the narcissist living their best life, traveling all over the world and getting all the fancy accolades and the fancy watches and the trips and being a changed person and taking all of what you gave them and using it with the new supply. The narcissist, as I shared, they're an empty shell. They're a bottomless pit. And the new supply is either toxic themselves, or they're recycled, or they are a clean slate, which is the next new shiny object. That's what you were. But however you cut it, it will always end the same way. Now you may question me and you may say, well, wait, the narcissist I knew, I was married to them, and that was 10, 20 years ago. And now they're married and they've been with this person for 5, 10, 20 years. What happens there? Well, what happens is things that you will never see. Things that you know, but you haven't seen, because in the four walls of the house where that person you're considering is living, it's more of the same. It's more toxicity. It's more broken chairs. It's more smashed glasses. It's more dishes in the sink not being cleaned on their behalf. It's more financial abuse, emotional abuse, spiritual abuse, any abuse possible that the narcissist can dish out. These people get worse over time. They do not improve. They deteriorate. And you must understand, well, if that relationship you're considering, using the example I shared, if it's been going on for quite a long period of time, the person that they're in that relationship with never either figured out what narcissism is, or they're in it too deep, or they're toxic themselves. That's the only 3 ways you can cut this. So while we tend to think about the narcissist living their best life, specifically when the relationship has ended, or when we get discarded, or when we remove ourselves from the relationship, anything but that is reality. The reality is these people are void of emotions that you have, which means empathy, love, commitment, compassion, togetherness, growth, change, positivity, uplifting memories and uplifting experiences. What they want is to capture anything that you had, and they want to extinguish it or weaponize it against you. So that's what's happening with the narcissist right now, and it will always end the same way. It will end with one person paying a big price to stay in that relationship, and the narcissist slowly, and I mean slowly, taking away from that person's mindset, their money, their health, their hopes, their dreams, their aspirations, their goals, their future, their purpose. And this is what the narcissist does. I've shared it so many times in so many different videos. When you're in the cycle, when you're in it, you can't see it. When you're out of it, you can see it crystal clearly once you've healed, which means you can see toxicity from 10 miles away. You can sense in someone's pause what they mean. You can sense in someone's reaction, or how they react or respond to you quickly or slowly, or what they do. Back then, you didn't know it. You were a human piñata. You were on a roller coaster of emotions, going super high and going super low. And the narcissist was peppering you with abuse more and more and more, trying to burn out you, burn out the relationship, and burn up all of your energy and your resources. That is the same thing that is happening right now with the narcissist, no matter where they are. So think about this. Let's say the narcissist that you're considering, and my hope is you have nothing to do with them, you've blocked them, gone no contact, deleted them, etc. But let's say that that person has now relocated somewhere, started a new job, or they just inherited money. Who knows? Something big happened with them. And again, you shouldn't know this. And if you do, please get off the radar of these people. Get away from them. The less you know about them, the better off you are. The less they know about you, the better off you are. But let's say something happened and they acquired something somehow, the narcissist. And of course, they probably didn't do it honestly, but whatever they did, well, you may be thinking, wow, they just got that their life's really improved. No, it's not. Everything is for show by the narcissist. Everything is an illusion. Everything is appearance. Think about you. What's inside of you? What's inside of you is love and abundance and growth and commitment and togetherness and honesty, integrity, purpose, direction. This is what you're made of. These are the attributes that make you you, and there are only a few. The narcissist has none of those. So what they will be doing, if they owned their own state, their own country, if they owned their own time zone, it would never be enough, because they can't stand commonplace. They can't have regularity. They can't have the same thing happening over and over and over again. This is why the narcissist needs disruption. This is why they're always looking for the next new shiny object. This is why they destroy relationships. This is why they try to get their dirty fangs sunken into people with high levels of empathy, or people who are vulnerable or naive, or all three. And what they want to do is take the best of those people, insert their toxicity into them, steal their abundance and their beautiful energy, and use that as a catapult to leverage them to the next level or the next relationship they're going to go off to. But again, you didn't know this. Now you do know it. Now you know it's the same rodeo. It's the same song and dance. It's the same broken record going around and around and around in a loop. And that loop is the narcissistic abusive cycle. You were in it and you didn't even know you were in it. You are out, or you are getting out. And when you get out, no matter where you got out or how you got out, you need to stay out. You need to understand that that person, if they still have access to you any way, shape, or form, at a later date, they may attempt to try to draw you back in, or communicate with you, or hoover you, or any of all three of those or more. Maybe they send you a email saying, hey, you left this old smelly sock in the drawer from 15 years ago. I want to send it back to you. And then you're thinking, why would you do it? The reason they're doing that is they're trying to test the temperature of you. It's not about the sock. You need to hear the signal through the noise. The signal is get away from these people. Block them, get off their radar. The noise is everything that ever came out of their mouth, anything. And that's more of the same. So how it all will end for the narcissist, it's going to end again the same way. Someone's life will be destroyed. Other relationships will be fractured or broken. That person most likely will be financially abused, emotionally abused, maybe even physically abused, definitely spiritually abused. The smear campaign will be all around them. They won't even know it. They won't know what gaslighting is. They will continue to try to fix a relationship that is unfixable. And then that person will continue to try and leave doors of communication open with the narcissist, because they weren't taught this in school, or they have no idea what narcissism is. So they will be doing what you did and what I did. You must understand this. This is not a good place to be. It's the most debilitating, taxing, challenging, life-threatening place on this planet to be. And you may say, why is it so taxing, debilitating, life-threatening, challenging? Well, think about it. If you tripped or something, you broke your leg, well, people could see that you have a broken leg. They know, okay, go get it fixed and set and do rehab and you're gonna heal. They can see that. The narcissistic relationship, you can't see the damage that's done to you most times, because it is mental, it is emotional, it is spiritual, it is financial. And yes, you can see finances dwindling, but other people can't. This is why this is a relationship that you need to heal from, and you need to get as far away from that person as you possibly can. Stop giving them chances. Stop thinking that there's one little shred of goodness inside of them. Stop thinking that they will improve, that they can improve. Stop thinking that you can save them. Stop believing their victim mentality. This is all the things the narcissist does. What they want to do, essentially, in a nutshell, is they want to get people's attention and energy placed on them, so it isn't placed back within those people. And I was one of those people, not the narcissist. I was a person who was placing all my attention and energy into the narcissist. And again, I didn't know what narcissism was. So that's what the narcissist wants. And once they groom you and trap you and trick you in that trauma bond, in that narcissistic fog, then you will do anything you can under the sun to please that person. You will do anything you can to make them happy. You'll do anything you can. You will bend over backwards. You will max out credit cards. You will drive through snowstorms. You will drive through hurricanes, and you will drive through any weather possible to be there with them and to be there for them. That's when you don't know what you were up against. It's when you don't know what narcissism is. Once you understand that and you pull back and you heal and you get off the radar and you go no contact, etc., then you realize Mother Nature is still going to spin around. There's still going to be hurricanes. There's still going to be snowstorms. There's still going to be hail. There's still going to be rain and sun and everything and drought. But those things you can't control. And the narcissist no longer gets access to you because you've cut the ties. You've cut the emotional, the financial, the physical, and the spiritual tie. If you haven't done that, that's what you are about to do. And you must do it to get off the radar of these people. And so why it always ends the same way for the narcissist, or how it will always end for the narcissist, it's the same loop going around and around and around. And they will try to capture as many people and trap them in that loop as they possibly can. And you may say, well, that sounds great, and all this video made sense, and I get it, and I understand it, but the narcissist that I knew, my ex or whoever it was, or my adult sibling or my parent, whoever it is, they just fell into a boatload of money, or they just inherited something, or they just got the best job ever, or they're doing ABC. Well, first of all, again, my hope is you don't know what they're doing, because you shouldn't know that. But second of all, you need to remember what I shared with you at about the 7.5-minute mark. It will never be enough for these people. Never. It will never be enough. And they don't change. So yes, maybe they had an inheritance, maybe it was a large amount of money, or maybe they just got a whole huge settlement from the person they divorced who was the non-narcissist, and that person was financially abused for decades. Well, what is the narcissist going to do with all their money? They're going to do what they always do. They're going to blow it. They're going to flaunt it. They're going to get things that they can't afford, and they're going to continue to shoot themselves in the foot. Yes, there are occasional narcissist, toxic people, if you will, that know how to handle money. I get it. There are people that are like that. But most of these people, they don't have two nickels to rub together. They slither their way through life using other people's mindset, their ideas, their money, their time, their relationships, and they keep these people on an invisible leash. And that person was me, so I can say that. And it probably was you, but you're off of that leash. You're out, you're healing, or you've healed. And now the narcissist will continue to look for unsuspecting people, vulnerable people, naive people, people with high levels of empathy, or maybe all four and more. And they will try to trap those people in that dungeon of horrors, that dungeon of manipulation, that cesspool of misery, and the minefield of destruction. This is what they do. You have to remember one more thing before I close the video. You broke out. You escaped, no matter how you did it. If you were discarded, or you entered it yourself, or you fled, no matter what you did, you're out. And when you're out, you need to stay out. You need to really focus all that energy that was going in that toxic person or those toxic people and put it back into yourself and heal properly. And you must understand, it will always end the same way for the narcissist. There is no magic potion they can take to cure them. There is no way that they can introspect or be accountable. They can sell you the songs, they can tell you all the scripture, they can read back any famous quotes and say, yes, this is what I want to do. The thing is, do they ever do it? No, they don't. This is why these people, many of them they use their charm, they use words that weren't written by them, because many of these people don't even know how to write. What they do is they use former famous quotes or scriptures or words from somebody else, and they use those as if they were their own. Remember, the narcissist is a mimicker. They mimic back people's words, actions, mannerisms, everything they possibly can, because in the narcissist, there's a bottomless pit. There's a void that needs to be filled by something. And it was filled by you, and it was filled by me. Now that you're out, you need to realize that it will always end the same way. It's just that it's going to end at a different person, a different time frame with a different person. But at the end, the one common denominator, it's the narcissist. And as the narcissist gets older, they become something which is known as the aging narcissist. And the aging narcissist is, that's right, they're not a pretty sight to see. So stay away from these people. Use the wisdom you've acquired. Maintain your boundaries. Get off the radar and continue to heal, and stay as far away from these people as you possibly can, because it always will end the same way. It always will end in decay, in destruction, in heartbreak, in loneliness, and in one person having to heal. And that person, it's not the narcissist. It's people who were taken advantage of, hoodwinked, tricked, and trapped and placed in that narcissistic fog. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. Remember that. You are not alone. I love you all. God bless you, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Understand a few things. One, first of all, the babies say hi. Nelson is sitting here to my right, and Noah's behind me somewhere. Second of all, it always will end for the narcissist. You may think that, no, they're living their best. They're not living their best life. Why do you think they abuse people? It's because they want to keep their tiny little pea brain occupied. They want to keep that script rolling around in their mind that only they can write. They want to keep people off balance. They want to keep people stuck. They want to keep people not healing. They want to keep people not figuring out who they are. And they want to continue to slither their way through lives wearing different masks, manipulating different people, infiltrating families, organizations, hobby groups, communities, churches, schools, and more. And they want to disrupt as much as they possibly can. And they want to take. And when they're done, what do they want to do? That's right, they want to take more. That's why these people can never fill that void. They can never ever be satiated. They're always looking for something that they deem bigger and better or more valuable to them. And at one point that was you. Now it's somebody else. So let the narcissist go, maintain your no contact, and heal properly. I love you all. God bless you. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.